Duelyst 2 patch 0221. So this patch comes only less than a week after the expansion. I am assuming and I am expecting some changes on cards related to the expansion. School Profeta has already told us that Abyssian got hit. I am not surprised. Abyssian was kind of out of hand in certain cards. So what am I expecting to be changed? And maybe, you know, maybe I'm completely wrong, right? I'm expecting Elder Chain. I'm expecting Deja Vu Engineer to get hit. I'm expecting Pendant. And I'm expecting Augury. Everything else, I have no idea. So those four, I'm kind of expecting a nerf. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. But let's start. Let's go ahead. Okay, so Chakri changed from a 0-2 to a 1-2. So this was Chakri before it got nerfed. Interesting that they chose to buff it again. I'm guessing that I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think Chakri was a problem at 0-2. I don't think Chakri was, you know, not played. It was really good in Arcanist and a staple in Spell High, right? So interesting that they change it. But they explained it here. The main aim of this change is to make the card less feast or famine, especially when dealing with the spell. They didn't go into too much detail there. That's just, you know, that's what they decided. You know, okay, sure, fine. I'm okay with it. It's a little buff to Chakri. I don't have that much of an issue with it. Drain Morale also got buffed. 0 mana. Guys, we have to try Spell Vitruvian. I don't know how Spell Vitruvian is gonna be if the meta is still aggro-ish. But we have to try it. We have to try it. Come on. Come on. We believe this card could receive a boost in power. Yeah. I don't know if there has been that many players that have actually tried Drain Morale. I myself have not even played it. I have never played Drain Morale at 1 mana. We will try it now at 0 though. Not because they buffed it, just because, you know, I really want to play Spell Vitruvian, right? Oh, they changed the pendant to Frenzy. Oh, that's huge. Put the wizard hat on the Vitruvian head. That is the plan. Oh, they changed the pendant. To be honest, it's not that big of a surprise. I think the flying was kind of the conversation on being the focal point of the issue with pendant, because it just didn't care about board positioning at all. I mean, giving it Frenzy, it's still cool, right? It's still good. But you can't, you know, be far from your enemy and then just get close and celerity them. Let's see what they have to say. While having a source of flying for general is something unique and exciting, we believe there should be more positional counterplay against Artivet OTKs. Replacing flying with Frenzy also opens up a new way for the deck to come back into the game, adding another line of play. In practice, flying has very rarely been used to retreat, instead just simplifying and adding power to Artivet's practiced gameplay. Yeah, flying was used basically to go to the face of the enemy general, right? This makes Pendant more difficult to use, maybe not as easy to use it outside of an artifact Vitruvian. I think that most of Pendant's power came in a deck that was not actually focused towards artifacts, but more towards lowering your enemy down or having a good early game and finishing them off with Pendant, right? I mean, you know, it's understandable. It's sad because it's Vitruvian, but I agree. Ultimately, this chain had to be. Elder Chain Oh wow, the only change to Elder Chain is from 4 mana to 5 mana, making Cultist be worse from a tempo standpoint and come down to 1 mana later will diminish its capacity to ramp while still allowing big turns. I mean, I expected this card to get hit. I honestly think within Abyssian, this is very, very strong as an effect. Raising it up to 5, I still think Cultist is playable and strong. It's definitely a hit though. 5 mana is very, very different than 4. Mostly in the early game, right? Because there's a lot of times that you can ramp with an orb to 4, but ramping to 5 is a little bit more difficult. With 4 you can combine it with something else. With 5 it just becomes a little bit more difficult. And that's definitely going to be a hit for Elder Chain. But, you know, I think it needed to get hit. I wish they would have done this with Pendant, just raising Pendant to 2. But I guess that would have not changed much, would it? Shadow Dancer from a 5/4 to a 5/3. Wow, that's big. This dies to so many things now. This dies to Dancing Blades, Phoenix Fire, a Tuskboar. It dies to so many things. That's a big change. That is a big change. Shadow Dancer plays involve simultaneously dealing a significant chunk of burn, giving your general a buffer of health that buys time and developing a backline threat that wins easily if unanswered. We believe this card is in a healthier state if it's asking for less in order to be answered. So they're trying to make it easier for the opponent to answer Shadow Dancer, and they clearly achieved that by lowering its health, right? At least it's not a 5/2. There's a huge difference from 2 to 3 now that Riftwalker's around. But you know, 5 mana, 5/3 is very low stats. Guy, man, the dude. 4 to 3 health means it suddenly lies to like half of the removal in the game. I know. It's a big change. I think once you reach 4, the differences between 4, 5, 6, and so on is less than 2, 3, and 4. It's a big gap of difference between 2, 3, and 4. Die, Dancer! My dog is complaining. Give me just 1 second. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Eh? ¿Ahí tiene la cama? He's bringing me all these toys. Poor him, he wants to play. Alright, so Shadow Dancer, much more removable. Which is, you know, it's very sad for Deathwatch Abyss. I understand that Abyssian was going to get hit, but getting hit in the Shadow Dancer is surprising. I was not expecting this. Flia changed from a 5/5 to a 5/6. Okay, so they're trying to make Flia a bit more playable. I don't know if it was that much played, but interesting. It's much better to be a 5/6 than a 5/5. But again, it's not the same difference from 3 to 4 than 5 to 6, right? Patch Gaming. Let's go, Bald Eagle. Sad Abyssian noises. Tiger trades with Shadow Dancer. Jesus. There's just so many ways to kill Dancer at 3, honestly. White Widow goes to a 3/3. We wanted to increase the power level of Phil. I love that they've just taken in Uncle Phil and just, you know, almost renamed it at this point. For anybody who doesn't know and just goes here, like, why the power level of Phil? Who is Phil? So White Widow going to a 3/3. The reasoning here is similar to Shadow Dancer. Widow has been popular recently, and I wonder why. And it's an efficient backline threat with immediate impact that is a bit too difficult to answer. Oh wow, Deja Vu changed to a 3/4. That's it? Wow, I was not expecting that. I think I think the stats were not the problem with Deja Vu Engineer. We want to reduce the tempo efficiency of this card considering the quantity of value it can easily generate. I mean, I understand that a 3-5 is better than a 3-4, right? But I don't think that's really where this card was, you know, maybe causing issues, right? Interesting. And that's it. No change to Augury. Yo, Ashtaroth PT. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. That's it. No change to Augury. All the other three that I expected, Deja Vu, Cultist, and Pendant, did get hit. But I'm actually surprised that there is no change to Augury. Or to, you know, replace mechanics such as Wings of Paradise. It needed to be changed to spawn at the end of your turn instead of immediately. Yeah. Wow. That is a really good point to track. Really good point. Because it's very different. Mainly with rush minions like Spectral Revenant or Mechantor. It's very different if you spawn it immediately or at the end of the turn. That change that you're mentioning is something that I wouldn't be against maybe in the future. If they keep seeing Deja Vu Engineer hitting as it has been, it might be the way to go. I really like what you proposed there, Dual Track. They gave Lionheart cheesy replace cards so they can cycle spells harder and hit Widow for having synergy. Yeah. Honestly, Widow was not a problem until Augury came to be, right? Like it was a type of deck, but it was not really played that much. It wasn't that strong. With Augury, it just kind of blows. They could have done it from the start, since it's basically consuming but with a body. Yeah. I would like that change on Deja Vu Engineer. Alright, so this is the patch. Not much, but giving the time that it's taking them to do this after the expansion, I wasn't expecting that many changes. I don't want, you know... I don't see the point in doing big swings of stat changes and mana cost changes or effect changes just because, you know, of a panic mode, right? The meta does have to settle a bit more. But overall, I do like it. I'm a bit sad about Pendant, but that's okay. I think everything else kind of makes sense. Some of them may be a little bit on the lower end of a harsh meter of what I expected. But, you know, that's fine. Ultimately, it's all stat or mana change except for Pendant, right? Everything else is just changing mana cost and stats. Really short patch, but let's try it, right? What the hell? Let's go.